Tracy, I sent you the link.
Okay, wait, no, it's come through. And there. Check, make sure it's working. All right, give it a go.
Okay, thank you.
Raymond, can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you.
Hello?
Olivia's moving Raymond and everybody back into this room, but we can hear you.
Okay. I was in a break room. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, that's typically where we just place everybody till we get you live.
Okay.
You're live now.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Do you automatic move us to the main room, or is that something we have to do?
You're in the main room right now, Mr. Mike.
Sir.
Okay. So we are now live streamed. Have you posted, ladies, you posted the website on the, have you posted the link on our website?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, y'all can go ahead. Thank you very much, Mr. Pisani, and can proceed.
All righty. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please note any comments by the public are welcome and can be emailed to publiccomment@lsbme.la.gov to Jacinda. Please confirm you verify the identity of all tele and video conference participants. Is the sound clear and audible to the public and those on the tele and video conference?
Yes, it is, sir.
All additions to the executive or public agenda must be made presently, as we will no longer make additions to the agenda after we close of the public session. The only thing that I would like to add to the agenda is to welcome our new advisory committee member to the committee.
And we do need to go ahead and give him his oath if you're ready for that, Raymond.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll do the roll call.
Okay, sir, tell me how to pronounce your last name, sir.
Azema.
Azema. All right, if you raise your right hand, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to swear or affirm?
Swear.
All right, very good. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States
that I will support the constitutions and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of this state,
and the constitutions and laws of this state,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent on me
all the duties incumbent on me
as a member of the Advisory Committee on Respiratory Care
as a member on the Advisory Committee on Respiratory Care,
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
You are in. Thank you and welcome. If you can go ahead and sign those and return them back to us, we will sure appreciate it.
I will. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Wilton. At this time, we'll go ahead and do a roll call. And if you could let everybody, if you can let Dr. How do you pronounce your last name again, sir?
Ezema, but I go by Dr. Ugo, so that's fine. Dr. Ugo.
If everybody can let Dr. Ugo know who you are and where you're from, please. I'll start off. My name is Raymond Peasany. I'm the chairman. I'm currently employed for Ochsner Health at St. Mary in Morgan City.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm Brett Stafford. I'm the Director of Respiratory Services at St. Tammany Health System.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Beth Hampton. I'm a retired respiratory therapist and educator. I live in Bienville Parish on Lake Bistineau in North Louisiana.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Sheila Guidry, and I live in Homa. And I'm retired from Terrebonne General and been serving on the advisory committee for many years. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mike.
Okay. This is Mike
Can you hear me?
Mullen, and
Hello,
I've been
can you hear
several
me?
years, and I have a company, Michael Nolan's Healthcare Services. Glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, sir.
I'm Diana
Looking forward to
Marandino
work.
from LSU Health in Shreveport in the School of Allied Health. And I'm the secretary trying to take notes. Welcome aboard, Dr.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Those are the members of the advisory committee, and Dr. Collada and the staff, would y'all like to introduce yourselves? You're on mute, Dr. Collada.
I'm Vincent Collada, Executive Director of the State Board of Medical Examiners and a retired obstetrician.
I'm Phyllis Johnson. I'm a Allied Health Supervisor here at the board.
I'm Patricia Wilton. I'm an attorney that assists the board.
Pleasure to meet you all.
I'm Priscilla Bartholomew. I'm a
Oh,
licensed
hello.
analyst for RT.
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'm Michael. I'm an anesthesiologist, both a director of investigations for the Louisiana State Board of Medical Examiners.
I think that's all.
I believe that's all.
All right, do we have a quorum, Madam Secretary?
Yes, we have a quorum.
Is there any public comment, Dr. Collada?
1 second, I will check. There is no public comment at this time, sir.
Okay, Jacinda, can you put the agenda up on the screen, please?
Hold 1 second. Olivia, are you going to take care of that?
If you give me permission, I'll go ahead and open it up.
Dr. Van, you are co-host. I mean, I can put it up either way works.
Okay, I got it. If you made me a co-host, I will take care of it right now. And here is the agenda. Can you all see that?
Mhm.
Yes.
Not really.
Yes.
Yes, I
Well,
can
let
see
me
it.
see if I can make it a little bit bigger.
More better, more better,
No better?
More better.
much
Oh,
better.
okay. But you said no better.
Raymond, if you're speaking, you're on mute.
I apologize for not having the minutes previously sent out. There was an error that we caught on Friday. And Diana forwarded to everyone on this morning. Did
This-
everybody? I'm sorry. Dr.
Make a
Kalani.
motion to accept the minutes.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
That was Beth.
Yes.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Is there any public comment at this time, Dr. Kalani?
Checking 3 different emails. Second. No, sir, there are no public comment at this time.
All right. Revisions to the rules and regs. I apologize to everyone for not getting something out in a timely fashion, but it seems like everybody had a lot going on between our last meeting and this meeting. So what I'd like to do is have a doodle poll sent out to see when would be a good time for everybody to get together and look at our rules because and regs, because we will need to do some revisions so we can get that back to the board. So right after this meeting, I'll get with Diana Marandino because she's very good at doing doodle polls for us and see when we can coordinate something to work on revising these so we can get these back to the board before our next meeting. Does anyone have?
Just, Raymond, do you think a physical meeting to help with the revision would be helpful? I know we can send in, assign different sections for us to review, and then should we come together in a physical meeting to discuss before we bring to the committee?
I have my hand
Just
up.
a thought.
Okay.
In the same,
Sheila?
I had my hand up and I'm wanting to ask the same question. If this could be an in-person meeting.
Dr. Collada?
I will say this, the board would prefer it to be Zoom, but if you think you cannot do this by a Zoom meeting, we'll figure out a way to get you together. It just is a little bit more costly to the board to do it that way, but if you think it has to be done that way, we'll figure out a way to make it happen for you.
So Diana, if you can include that in the doodle poll, the preference in person or a Zoom meeting, please. And I'm thinking that this will be probably an 8-hour task for us to do, 8 hours or less.
At least.
Yeah.
Yes.
My advice is to break it up into 3 smaller meetings, but if you all want to come for 8 hours, we'll figure out a way to make it happen.
Okay, we'll work on that. Thank you, doctor. Does anybody else have any comments on the rules and regs revisions? Is there any public comment, Dr. Collada?
No, sir, no public comment at this time.
We'll follow up on the board opinions. I think at our last meeting, they were going to be sent to the board, Dr. Collada or Ms. Wilton, and that was from the December meeting.
We did not get draft letters to the board yet. I sent them to Dr. Collada this morning that he can possibly share with you the draft information that recounts what you all had said was your recommendation, and wanted to get your approval that that is what you want it to say and how you want it to be said, and then we can put that on the agenda here at the end of the month for our board to approve and go along with. And again, I sincerely apologize. It has been a very, very crazy end of the year, beginning of the year, and sorry that it's just now getting to you this morning. I do apologize.
Do you want to look at those letters? I can put them on the screen for you, Mr. Raymond.
Just one second, Dr. Sheila.
Yes, I'd like to look at them because I have to refresh my memory, and considering these letters go back all the way to June, I really hope that we can act on them ASAP.
All right, doctor, if you can put them up for us, please.
Yes, sir. 1 second.
Michael has his hand raised. Never mind, he took it down.
This is the first letter.
Okay, just 1 second, and I don't see Michael on my screen. Michael, do you have a question, sir?
I think the question will be answered once Dr. Collada gets them on the screen. How do you bring down the hand raise?
Okay.
Lord, okay. Thank you.
Okay, so this was allowing a waiver to the rules. And this would be under the respiratory, must take it past the National Board Registry and pass the entry-level low-cut score with 4 attempts, passing a low-cut score with a CO2 credential. So this basically reaffirms the rules, and I think that you all reaffirm those rules, and that's what we'll be telling them. And so we will be recommending that to the board at the meeting in March if you approve this letter.
Can you enlarge it, Doc?
Okay, hold on a minute. Can you see that?
No.
That large? Can you see that?
No, it's smaller. It's smaller than the original one. Is anybody in it?
Can everybody see that?
I'm seeing it okay.
That's better.
I can make it a little bit bigger.
Bigger, better.
Okay, how about that?
Large, more for me.
Okay.
I'm side's going. Hearing and eyesight.
How about now?
I don't see any changes. Anybody seeing it getting bigger?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you, Mike.
I still can't see it. You had it large and then it went back down.
Mike, it might be something with your camera because I'm seeing it very clear.
Okay. Looking at.
Hang on. How about now, Mike?
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
Raymond, do we need a motion to accept the letter? I'm just asking.
Dr. Collada?
It would be helpful because I want to be able to say that the advisory committee has approved this recommends this and approves this recommendation.
I make the motion that we accept.
Okay,
Who,
I second.
I think I heard Sheila, did you second or?
Yes, I did.
Okay, with second from Sheila Gidry. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
All right, I got a second letter. Just give me a minute.
Do we do the public comment after all of them, Doctor?
We do the public comment after both of them, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
All right, and this is a letter that the board endorses the recommendation of the advisory committee that the hospital establish a comprehensive policy that covers the training of respiratory therapists to perform IM injections and effects and side effects of these medications for asthma, COPD.
Excuse me, doctor, that was not up on the screen.
It's not up on the screen. I apologize. Thank you for telling me. Let's see if I can make it happen. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
Mike, can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, y'all made a recommendation, and this is gonna ask the board to endorse it that the hospitals, the institutions can establish the training of respiratory therapists and the side effects and effects of these medications, and further establish a policy for administration of allowed drugs and medication. So we're going to basically say it's the institution / hospital that's going to do it. And that's what y'all recommended, and we are comfortable making that recommendation to the board. And if everybody approves that, we will present it to the board at the meeting this week, on the 27th.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What type of training for IM injections will the therapist have?
The hospital will provide that therapy, that training.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, Dr. Collada, who was that asked that question?
That was our Assistant Director of Investigations, anesthesiologist, Dr. Michael Francis.
Thank you. Do I have a motion on the floor to accept the letter as written?
A motion to accept.
Do I have a second?
A
No
second.
second.
Second by Elizabeth Hamilton. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing that and go back to sharing the agenda for you.
Is there any public comment?
Checking right now.
Those opinions, please.
Raymond, Miss Milton has her hand raised.
There's no public comment at this time.
Ms. Milton?
Yes, so the third one that you all wanted to address was the issue of North Oaks wanting to compensate individuals. And I went back through all of the meetings and all of the minutes, and I've just had a slight question for you before I finalize that letter. The contact person at North Oaks, Ms. Schutz, is the one whose email was forwarded by Ms. Warner. So I was not sure how you all, the answer's clear. They can't be compensated. They could during COVID, they can't now. So I did not know and could not go back and recreate in my own mind if you wanted a letter to North Oaks, if you wanted a letter to Ms. Warner, if you wanted a statement of the board, maybe on the website clarifying that whatever COVID alterations were in place are no longer applicable. I wasn't sure, and I do apologize for that. The letter's easy. It's just 2 paragraphs. You can't do it anymore. But I just didn't know to whom it needed to be addressed, and I apologize for that.
At this point, I think, in my opinion, it needs to be sent to the Human Resources Department at North Oaks. I don't know if anyone else has any suggestions or comments.
Also didn't know if you wanted possibly Dr. Collada, maybe just to reach out and find out if that's still an issue. I didn't know if that's something a phone call could handle versus a board meeting, approving a recommendation in a letter and so forth. I wasn't sure.
I'm good with Dr. Collada contacting North Oaks if he's okay with that.
I'm happy to do it. And that way we just have one less item on the agenda for the board.
I mean, if there's still some kind of question, certainly we can write them and answer any additional questions, but it may be something that, like I said, could be handled by him just letting them know one way or the other.
Any other comments from the committee?
I'm good with that, Raymond.
Sheila, Brett?
According to our rules, they're not allowed, students are not allowed to work and get paid anyway. That was just during the emergency pandemic. So, I mean, you know.
Right.
She have to ask, she would literally have to ask the board to waive the rules. When I explain it to her, it's likely she will not, but if she wants to, we'll make sure it happens.
I think the committee's in agreement, Dr. Collada, that you just have a conversation with them, and if we need to move further at your direction, then we can send it to the board. Do we need to take a motion on that, Doctor?
I think we got our marching orders. I don't think we need a motion at this time.
Okay. Is there any public comment at this time?
1 second, check the 3 emails that they could be coming in. And no, sir, there are not. No public comment at this time.
Okay. Can we have the agenda back up?
Yes, sir. Okay.
All right, the next item on the agenda, follow-up committee appointments. Well, we're very happy to welcome our new physician to the board. Dr. Hugo, would you like to say anything?
Well, I'm happy to be here. Thank you all for accommodating me and welcoming me. I'm looking forward to learning and seeing how I can contribute, and just let me know how I can help.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Dr. Collada, do you know about any of the other appointments for the ones that were submitted to the boards and commissions? Have you heard anything?
Jacinta, if you heard anything in the last day or two, because I haven't.
No, sir. I checked on Friday and haven't heard anything. Dr. Hugo is the only appointee that we have thus far. Since the governor's office makes that, normally they'll send the appointment letters directly to the appointed member, and then we'll get a copy of it after. So as we continue to get those, we'll have everything ready for your ongoing meetings.
Thank you. Is there any public comment, Dr. Collada?
Second. No, sir, no public comment.
Is there any other old business that anyone would like to discuss?
Raymond, I do have something. At our last meeting, we actually discussed the issues with people complaining about licensure. And I have sketched out a survey, and what I'd like to do is put it in a format that y'all can see how it comes out and send it to y'all, which is nothing more than they let us know whether they were a new graduate applicant or an out-of-state applicant or other, because we said we would do this with the initial process. And then basic questions on were they able to access and navigate the LSBME site? Their ability to obtain and submit fingerprints, and then I'm going to ask them, were they submitted less than 2 weeks ago, less than a month ago, or more than 6 weeks ago? What was their ability to register with the LA Med dashboard? And then how often were they checking the dashboard for their licensure status? And they can choose never checked it daily, weekly. Their ability to upload those other or mail in those other documents to submit them, and ability to communicate with the LSBME regarding questions. And then there would be a comment section that basically says, please share with us any concerns regarding the process and how we can assist in making improvements. And then again, we may not find anything from this. It may be just those individuals that are, being caught up with investigations or having to jump through some extra hoops before they get granted. But I will put it in a survey form and send it out to y'all.
And Raymond, I might take this opportunity to say that thanks to the hard work of our staff, Ms. Bartholomew and Ms. Phyllis, we only have 12 initial applications pending at this time.
Great
That's
job.
great.
Thank y'all.
Welcome.
Does anyone have any questions on the survey from Diana?
I just have a question for Dr. Collada. Is that something that the board would have to authorize, that survey going out?
Yes, it would.
So, Ms. Diana, if you wanted to send that to to all of you all, and then to Dr. Collada, he can put it on the agenda for the board to authorize that being distributed.
Well, the first time I send it out, I really want feedback. There may be something else somebody wants to know before we submit it finalized. Okay. I had suggested it only because, again, COVID has really messed us up, and the LSBME is going through updating processes and going on computer versus hard paper, which is difficult for some people to maneuver, and so we were talking about, how do you fix the problem? And then my question was, well, you got to find the problem. And I'm not sure that there is a problem.
Right. No, it's a great idea. I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page that the board authorized that. Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other questions for Diana? All right. Is there any public comment, Dr. Collada?
Checking 1, 2, and 3, and there is no public comment.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to new business. Dr. Collada, preliminary license versus regular license.
Raymond.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sheila.
I have a hand up.
For some reason, everybody's screen is not showing on my computer. I apologize.
I have a question on old business.
I'm sorry, Sheila, go ahead.
I have a question on no business. Just wondering, any update on compact licensure?
That really is a function of the legislature. We will take no position for or against it. It is something that the legislature has to enact. It's a law that they have to enact. And I will tell you all that, quite frankly, it will be more, if it follows all of the other compact patterns we are seeing, it will be much more expensive, but it'll be what somebody else asked for, not what the board decided.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other hands up? And I apologize, I can't get everybody's view on my computer to see their hands. All righty, we'll move on to new business. Dr. Collada.
Well, I'd like to talk about the need for a preliminary license. We've talked about this because people are finishing schools at different times during the year. But at our last meeting, we kind of closed this with a discussion that the license exam can now be taken just about any time during the year. And if that's the truth, what is the reason for the preliminary license?
I'll give you my opinion.
That's what we're looking for.
Okay. And you know me, I always got one.
We want one. That's what we want. We really do, believe me.
So I'm gonna go two sides of the fence here. First side of the fence is, I do remember the student that had to go through 4 fingerprinting processes before the 4th one was good. So if their oath of affirmation was clean, nothing showed up there, and we're just trying to get good prints, I could see somebody being delayed and going to work. And that was back in the day when I was teaching, and we were starting these kids 4 to 8 weeks out to start the process. And so they still would have been about 2 months delayed in going to work, waiting on that 4th set of prints. So that's the reason to have it. On the flip side of that, in our area up here, I cannot tell you, short of the fingerprint process, that there's a hospital that would hire them on a temporary without having passed their board exam. Because they've done it before, they've trained the individual, they spent 6 months, whatever, getting them trained, only to find out they had to let them go because the individual would not go back on the second, no, maybe it was the 3rd attempt on the exam. So the area up here, and I can't speak for below here, usually did not take anything like that unless it was a fingerprint thing we were waiting on.
Well, we do have a provision in most of our licensing policies to address a problematic fingerprinting, but they're individualized. And so we can certainly tune that up with Ms. Phyllis and Ms. Loma and get everybody in licensing to do that. What has to happen is we will do, sometimes we have people that we've had doctors who just can't get fingerprints at all. And we do a name check as opposed to a fingerprint check. But traditionally, we do something to address them getting to work pending the fingerprinting, because the board really does not want to issue licenses in the absence of a questionable criminal background check. But I can certainly put together a policy that I can bring back to you all next time to see if we can iron it out. I'll work with Aloma and Miss Phyllis and Miss Wilton to put together a policy that we can individualize. But I can tell you that the board would be a reversal to grant a permanent license to do that. And it won't be a preliminary license. If anything, it'll be a temporary permit.
Yes.
So, because the word license describes what might be called property rights. And I want to make sure that we don't grant anybody property rights, because then it's very hard to take that, even a preliminary license away. So I don't want to get involved in that. If I can, we can grant them a temporary permit. I'll work out that policy and get that done for the next meeting, whenever that is.
Next meeting is June the 12th, Doctor. Is there anybody have any questions for Dr. Collada?
I do. I think somewhere, if I recall, that we have something that reads, if they can prove extenuating circumstances preventing them from being able to have attempted the licensure exam within a certain period or whatever. I'm assuming that would be on an individual basis also. We would handle that.
Let me pull up the rules real quick. Let's see. we have basically what's called a work permit. Okay. And that is for applicants currently credentialed by the National Board. It's filed an application for licensure with the board. It's good for 60 days. It's not renewable. Or you can be a graduate of a respiratory therapy education program, has applied for and is awaiting exam results. But criminal background checks are not going to, are going to be a difficult thing. And then we have temporary license, which is a 6-month temporary license as a respiratory therapist who completed the program and awaiting education. But y'all are telling me that really is not necessary. At least that's what I heard Deanna say. And then there's the date in which the board acts application following completion. And it's a 6-month temporary license, shall not be renewal and may be restricted by or limited by the board. And it's exceptions at the discretion of the board based upon an appeal identifying extenuating circumstances. So they would have to make an appeal. We just don't give it to them. They have to make an appeal. But again, as we rework these rules, I don't want to go into the trouble of changing the rules until you all are all on board with what you want. I can only tell you what the board has traditionally said over the last couple of years about, trying to get people, with lack of criminal background checks. They really are uncomfortable with that. But we'll talk about all of those when we work to review these rules.
Yeah, so can we just table this till we work on the rules and?
Well, I'll get you the information that I said we would get you. Okay, I think the key is, do we really want to go ahead and do something that's going to upend the rules and then come back and the rules don't get approved? Then we're kind of flip-flopping around without having any good reason for it. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry that I tend to look for consistency as opposed to in constant variation.
Yeah. I think if you work on that policy, doctor, and get it back to us. And let's see, Beth, I see your hand.
Yeah, I just want to, something that crossed my mind. We tend to kind of generalize and talk about things that are happening in our area of all the places that we work. There's a lot of people in rural areas that don't have schools that close to them, and they may very well be wanting to put these guys to work, without, before they pass their test or whatever. So we have to consider the entire population, in my opinion, of the state before we make a change in the rules and regs.
Well, again, I think that right now we have a provision for that in the rules. The question becomes one of, are we having people who cannot take the test in a timely fashion after graduation or completion of coursework? I was under the impression, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that these tests can be taken online just about anywhere, anytime. If that is incorrect, y'all need to teach me.
Diana, how many places do we have in Louisiana? Is it 3 or 2?
Raymond, I don't know because I haven't gone on to try to sign up for an exam. Shreveport has 2. I would think Alexandria has 1. I'm 99% sure that you're going to find testing locations in Baton Rouge and New Orleans.
They do.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you that the ease of taking the test should not be a problem. There is a new ruling from the MBRC that says, okay, so Diana Mirandino goes out and takes her test today, and I fail it by 15 points. Okay, so I'm going to want to study for the next 2 months, and I have this temporary license. And so then I go back and retake it. I'm working and I retake it. And this time I miss it by 10 points. Okay, let me study another 2 more, months. And then I'm going to go take it again. And again, we're talking about that low level. So I go back and I take it again and I miss it by 1 point. After that 3rd attempt, I am down in the water for 120 days before they will let me go back in. Okay, that would go back to this temporary thing, and I'm trying to get in there and take it for my 4th attempt, but it's gonna extend that 6-month period. And again, guys, I'm going to the extreme on that. That's the only limitation I see. Signing up for the exam shouldn't be a problem. Some of them are going to tell you coming up with the money's the problem. But the only delay that I see is that person that's taken it for took it for the 3rd time, missed it, and wanted to go back for the 4th. They're going to be down 120 days.
Raymond, if I might ask, is it in the best interest of protecting the public for someone who can't pass the test after 3 tries to continue to practice until they pass the test?
Again, we have to keep the public interest at mind and the public safety.
I mean, Dr. Collada, in the past, there have been individuals that have come up and asked for an extension before this committee, and our advisement was no, go pass your boards and come, and come back. So I think we're all in agreement, but when you asked, is there a situation where they couldn't get in? That's the only one I could give you.
Well, I think that the real discussion then is, as we get to changing the rules, rather than if you want to individualize it and they have to appeal to the board after 2 or 3 times to continue to extend it, that's where we would put it. But absent that, I don't know that we can do anything at this point, except say, if you continue, if you want to, we can grant those. But again, I want to make sure we act in what's considered to be the best protection of the public, not just the ability to have a warm body on a shift at night or on the weekend, and that put those people that person takes care of in danger.
Excuse me. I just have one question, if you don't mind. Is there a definition of eligibility to take the test, or you lose your eligibility to take the test after 4 things or 4 tests, or what? What are any definition of it? Eligibility.
Okay. So, Dr. Francis, the NBRC does not have a so-called timeout for eligibility, except when the individual is not passing. So, for all practical purposes, let's say that I pass my entry level and all therapists are trained at the advanced level. So I've got my entry level, I got my license, and now I'm going to go get that advanced level that everybody was trained at, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I could go and right now that is, I could go and take that exam 20 times. And they're still going to allow me to come back and take it, maybe with some wait time. So there's not a true eligibility, unless I'm trying to think, because we've never had anybody do this, unless somebody didn't take it within the first 3 years of graduation. That may change something. But other than that, no, there's no time frame limit on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And let me just say this about that. The NBRC does go back every 5 years and do a survey of the nation and rewrite those exams every 5 years. So they're constantly updating the exams to take in our clinical practice and the minimal level of clinical practice, along with the advanced level.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any other discussion or questions for Dr. Collada? All right, Dr. Collada, we look forward to seeing your proposal of what you put together and present to us at our next meeting.
Yes, sir.
Is there any public comment at this time?
Me checking. 1, 2, and 3. No, sir, there are no public comments at this time.
All right, so we'll move on to licensing personnel, Phyllis Johnson and Ms. Bartholomew. Is there anything that y'all would like to present to the committee?
No, sir, not at this time.
We appreciate the hard work that y'all do, and as Dr. Collada says, kudos that we only have 12 licenses. Is that correct at this time?
12 initial licenses, that's
Initial
correct.
licenses, excuse me. So that sounds great.
Thank you, sir.
All right, is there any public comment, Dr. Collada?
No, sir.
All right. Move the
May I
agenda.
may I have a privilege of passing on something?
Yes, sir.
Miss Allen, Susie Allen, our Director of Education, needs 2 of your members that can work with her on the question pool for the law and rules course that you all want everybody to take and that the board wants everybody to take. And if we can get that done when y'all meet in June the 12th, we'll be ready to put it up for everybody to take. Remember that we've changed sort of the operationals of this to speed up licensing. Everybody has to take the law and rules course before their first annual renewal after initial licensing. And then we're going to make it available for everybody to take anytime they want for free to add to their required number of continuing education units that they need to take. But I need 2 of your members, Mr. Raymond, to work with Miss Susie. And if you'll give me those names, I will make sure Susie contacts them and gets them to work on getting that done so we can get that up and running.
Do I have 2 volunteers that would like to step up? I will nominate myself to be one of them. And she's not gonna like this, but I'm gonna, one of the educators.
I'll do it.
Diana Marandino.
Okay.
Thank you. We appreciate that very much.
Mhm.
Thank you, sir. All righty. Our upcoming meetings, our next meeting is June the 12th. We have September the 18th and December the 4th. Is there?
Now,
I'm
when
sorry.
do you want to put in that all-day meeting?
We're gonna send out a doodle poll for that,
Okay.
Doctor. And,
All right.
and we'll send that out to the board as well, to you and Ms. Wilton, to make sure, it's all right. Is there any public comment at this time? Excuse me, before we go there, is there, yeah, no. Is there
Ms.
any
Hamilton has a question.
Beth?
I just want to insert this as your relevant statement. My daughter is a registered nurse. She told me last night that they have waived the CEU requirements for nurses.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is
That's
that,
it. Nothing to do with anything.
temporary?
No,
That's-
they no longer have to get CEUs.
Wow.
Interesting. All right, is there any public comment, Dr. Collada?
No, sir, there's not.
Is there any other new business that anyone would like to bring up at this time? Any public comment at this time, Doctor?
No, sir.
All right. We do have an executive session, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Olivia or Jacinta?
Yes, sir, you do.
Okay. Please forgive me. Do we have to read something at this time? Because I don't have that.
You have to have a motion to go into executive session. Then we will move you into executive session, leaving the public the ability to wait for us to come back into public session. And in public session, you will take a vote on any matters that you decide without identifying anybody's name.
At this time, do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I make motion.
Second.
Diana made the motion and then Brett seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We can go ahead and go into, is there any public comment on that, Dr. Collada?
Well, let's double check real quick. No, sir, there's no public comment on that at this time.
Okay, let's go ahead and move into executive session.
The ladies will be transferring us into a new meeting room for executive session. Give them a moment. You can join whenever you see the blue button to allow you to join.
Tracy, I'm gonna leave you outside of executive session.
Sounds good.
Okay. Is everybody back in?
Looks like let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mike's coming in right now. I think you got everybody.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion on matter 29846?
486.
486.
486.
Raymond, I make a motion that case 298-486 be denied a license based off of our law and the excessive attempts on the exam.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Doctor, there's no discussion.
There's no discussion.
Okay, all in favor of the matter of 298-486 and our motion? Please vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries.
Okay.
Is there anything that anybody else would like to discuss? Or that we can-
Let me make sure there's no public comment, sir. And there is no public comment at this time.
All righty, well, thank everybody for their time and Diana will be sending the doodle poll out for us and we'll get back. Doctor, I'll get with you. Give me a little time. I'm leaving town Thursday and I'll be gone for about 10, 12 days. So I'll get with you after that.
Okay,
That
well, I'm
sounds
leaving town
good.
Thursday and I'll be back on Monday, but thank you very much.
Raymond, send me the possible dates you're looking at.
Okay,
All right.
thank y'all.
Y'all have a
Thank
good
you.
week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Have a